The rain hammered the cracked asphalt of Elmwood Lane like fists on a coffin lid, each drop a reminder that nothing in this godforsaken Midwest town ever stayed buried. Alex Harper stood frozen under the flickering street lamp, his heart shattering as he watched his brother, Jordan, pull his boyfriend, Liam, into a desperate kiss against the rusted pickup truck. In that instant, betrayal wasn't just a word. It was the blade twisting in his gut, severing the life he'd dared to dream of in this suffocating corner of Ohio. He didn't scream, didn't lunge. Alex just turned, the storm swallowing his footsteps as he walked away from the only home he'd known, vowing never to look back. But secrets have a way of clawing their way to the surface, and 8 years later, one man's fortune would drag him right into the heart of the storm he'd fled. Alex's sneakers squelched through puddles that mirrored the turmoil churning inside him, the cold Ohio rain seeping into his bones like the chill of Jordan's smirk replaying in his mind. At 22, he'd been naive enough to believe love could bloom in a place where faggot was whispered behind every diner counter and church pew. Liam had been his anchor, tall, with that easy laugh and calloused hands from fixing engines at the local garage. They'd stolen moments in the woods behind Harper Farms, whispering futures that didn't involve hiding. But Jordan, the golden son, the straight-A athlete everyone adored, had always eyed Liam with a hunger Alex mistook for brotherly camaraderie. Now, as Alex stumbled toward the Greyhound station on the edge of town, the betrayal burned hotter than the feverish ache in his chest. He'd overheard them earlier that week, Jordan's voice low and coaxing in the barn, Liam's hesitant protests melting into silence. Alex had confronted Liam that afternoon, his voice cracking like dry timber. "It's nothing," Liam had lied, eyes darting away. "Just talking." But tonight's scene under the street lamp erased any doubt. Jordan had won, as he always did, with that effortless charm masking the predator beneath. The bus depot was a ghost town at midnight, fluorescent lights buzzing like angry hornets. Alex slumped onto a plastic bench, his duffel bag, stuffed with a few changes of clothes, his high school diploma, and a dog-eared copy of Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass, his only companion. $50 in his pocket, earned from bussing tables at the diner, wouldn't get him far. But staying? That was death. His parents, devout Baptists who'd prayed away his phase since he came out at 16, would side with Jordan. They always did. Family first, Dad would grunt, while Mom baked pies for the church bake sale, pretending her youngest son didn't exist. The ticket agent, a grizzled man with a name tag reading Earl, slid a one-way to Chicago across the counter. "Last bus leaves in 10. You sure, kid?" Alex nodded, throat too tight for words. As the diesel engine roared to life, swallowing him into the night, he pressed his forehead against the grimy window, watching Elmwood's lights fade like dying embers. Chicago was a gamble. Big city, anonymous streets, whispers of queer bars and pride flags waving without shame. Maybe there, he could rebuild. Maybe there, the hole Jordan had carved out wouldn't bleed forever. But the wound festered. In the Greyhound's dim glow, Alex replayed every stolen glance, every brush of Liam's fingers that now felt like poison. Jordan wasn't just his brother. He was the mirror Alex hated. Taller, broader, the one who'd inherited Dad's easy confidence while Alex got the quiet introspection that marked him as different. Their childhood had been a battlefield of comparisons. Jordan's touchdowns celebrated with backyard barbecues. Alex's poetry readings met with eye rolls. And now this. Stealing Liam wasn't about love, Alex seethed. It was about claiming what he couldn't have, twisting the knife to prove he was the better man. Dawn broke over Chicago's skyline like a jagged promise, the bus jolting to a stop in a terminal thick with exhaust and hurried lives. Alex stepped off into a world that hummed with possibility and peril. The air smelled of hot dogs and desperation, skyscrapers looming like judgmental giants. He found a flop house in Wicker Park for $20 a night, the room barely bigger than a closet, walls papered in faded band posters. That first week blurred into a haze of job hunts. Dishwasher at a dive bar, stock boy at a corner market. Each shift ending with him collapsing on a lumpy mattress, dreams haunted by Liam's laugh echoing into Jordan's arms. It was at the bar, the Rusty Nail, where he met Theo. The place was a haven for the city's outcasts. drag queens nursing whiskeys, leather-clad dykes shooting pool, and men like Alex, nursing wounds under neon rainbows. Theo was behind the bar, all sharp wit and sharper cheekbones, his dark eyes scanning the room like a hawk. "First time?" he'd asked, sliding Alex a ginger ale on the house. 24, a theater major moonlighting as bartender, Theo had a way of seeing through bullshit. They talked until closing, about small-town suffocation, the ache of unspoken truths. For the first time since the rain-soaked kiss, Alex felt seen. But trust was a fragile thing. When Theo leaned in one night, lips brushing Alex's ear with a joke about bad exes, Alex flinched, the ghost of betrayal yanking him back. "Not ready," he muttered, cheeks burning. Theo didn't push, just nodded with that knowing smile. "Plenty of time in this city to heal, sweetheart." And heal he did, inch by inch. Days turned to weeks, shifts bleeding into late-night walks along Lake Michigan, where the waves whispered forgiveness he couldn't yet give himself. Yet Elmwood clawed at him. A letter arrived one gray afternoon, postmarked from home. Mom's careful script: "Jordan and Liam are engaged. Come home for the wedding. We miss you." Alex tore it to shreds, the pieces scattering like confetti from a funeral. Engaged. The word lodged in his throat like glass. He pictured Jordan in Dad's old suit, Liam's hand in his, the town toasting their normal union while Alex rotted in exile. Rage fueled him then, rage that morphed into resolve. He enrolled in night classes at a community college, majoring in computer science because it promised escape through code, worlds built line by line where brothers couldn't steal your heart. Theo became his anchor, their friendship a quiet harbor amid the storm. They'd share greasy diner breakfasts, dissecting plays and dreams. "You're tougher than you think," Theo said one dawn, as they watched the sun gild the lake. "That town's poison, but you're the antidote." Alex wanted to believe him, but doubt lingered like fog. What if he was broken beyond repair? What if love was just another thief waiting in the shadows? By year's end, Alex had scraped together enough for a tiny apartment in Logan Square, walls adorned with thrift store art, and a second-hand laptop humming with algorithms. Coding came naturally, a puzzle where emotions had no place. He freelanced on the side, debugging for startups, the paychecks stacking like bricks in a wall against his past. But the holidays loomed, a siren call back to Elmwood. Dad's heart attack came via voicemail. "He's stable, but come if you can." Alex booked the ticket before doubt could intervene, steeling himself for the prodigal son's unwelcome return. The farm looked smaller, shabbier, the fields barren under winter's grip. Mom hugged him stiffly at the door, her eyes avoiding his. "Jordan's out with Liam, planning the wedding." The words landed like punches. Dad lay in the living room recliner, pale and tethered to an oxygen tank, his gruff voice cracking. "Good to see you, son. Been too long." They talked of crops and weather, skirting the chasm between them. But at dinner, Jordan breezed in, Liam trailing like a shadow, their hands brushing in a way that screamed possession. Jordan clapped Alex on the back, too hard, grin wolfish. "Little bro, city's made you soft." Liam's eyes met Alex's for a split second, guilt flickering like a faulty bulb, before dropping away. The meal dragged, small talk laced with barbs. Jordan boasting about the garage's expansion, Liam nodding along, Mom serving pie with forced cheer. Alex's fork scraped the plate, appetite lost to the bile rising in his throat. "Congrats on the engagement," he managed, voice steady as rebar. Later, alone in his childhood room, posters yellowed and beds sagging. Alex wept silently, the walls closing in. He'd come for Dad, but this? It was torture. Dawn brought escape. He hugged his parents goodbye, Jordan's drive safe, ringing hollow. Back in Chicago, the wound reopened, but this time, it birthed something fierce. No more running. He'd build an empire from code, a fortune to eclipse their judgments. And one day, he'd return not as the broken son, but as the man who rose from the ashes. The cursor blinked mockingly on Alex's laptop screen, a heartbeat in the sterile glow of his Logan Square apartment. 2 years into his coding odyssey, he'd landed a junior developer gig at a fintech startup downtown, the salary finally affording takeout beyond ramen. But ambition gnawed at him like an itch he couldn't scratch. Late nights blurred into code marathons, fueled by black coffee and the echo of Jordan's laugh at that dinner table. Soft, his brother had called him. Alex would prove him wrong, not with fists, but with lines of code that could rewrite realities. Theo noticed the change, their friendship deepening into something unspoken, a tether against the isolation. "You're burning the candle at both ends," Theo warned over beers at the Rusty Nail, his hand lingering a beat too long on Alex's arm. At 26 now, Alex felt the pull, Theo's warmth, his unyielding support. But fear was a stubborn gatekeeper. "What if I screw it up again?" he'd confess in quiet moments, staring at the city lights from Theo's fire escape. Theo's reply was always the same. "Then you learn. That's the point." Elmwood's shadow lengthened with every ignored letter. Mom's updates came sporadically. Dad's recovery slow, Jordan and Liam's wedding a beautiful affair with 80 guests. Alex burned that one unopened, the envelope curling in his sink like a dead leaf. Instead, he poured himself into Project Phoenix, a side hustle born from insomnia, an app for secure, anonymous financial planning tailored to underserved communities, including queer folks dodging discriminatory banks. It started as a prototype, crude algorithms crunching data on hidden accounts and tax loopholes. But word spread in Chicago's underground networks. Drag brunches turned into beta tests, queer coders at meetups offering tweaks. By spring, Phoenix had seed funding from a venture angel who'd lost his partner to a suicide that smelled of hate crime cover-up. "This could save lives," the investor said, eyes fierce. Alex nodded, the validation a bomb. Theo threw an impromptu launch party in his loft, fairy lights strung like stars, guests toasting with cheap champagne. To Alex, the wizard behind the curtain, Theo proclaimed, pulling him into a hug that lingered, hearts sinking in the chaos. For a moment, Alex let himself lean in, the possibility of more shimmering like heat haze. But fate, that cruel puppeteer, had other strings. A system glitch hit Phoenix's beta rollout. User data exposed, not catastrophically, but enough to spark panic. Alex spent 48 hours straight debugging, eyes bloodshot, Theo bringing sandwiches and bad jokes to keep him sane. "You're not alone in this," Theo murmured at dawn, fingers threading through Alex's hair. The fix held, users returning with cautious trust, but the scare etched lines around Alex's eyes. Vulnerability wasn't just emotional, it was coded into every line he wrote. Summer brought a heat wave that mirrored the fire in his veins. Phoenix hit 1 million downloads, partnerships blooming with LGBTQ plus nonprofits. Alex's bank account swelled, but he lived lean, funneling profits into expansions. Then, the call came, from Mom, voice trembling. "Jordan's in trouble. The garage is failing. Lenders circling like vultures." Alex's grip tightened on the phone, old wounds pulsing. "What do you expect me to do?" Silence stretched, heavy as humidity. "Your family. Please." He wired the money anonymously through a shell account. 50 grand to stave off foreclosure. No note, no credit. Let them wonder. But the act stirred ghosts. Driving to a lakeshore bonfire with Theo that night, Alex confessed fragments. The betrayal, the exile, the fortune budding in secret. Theo listened without judgment, then cupped Alex's face under the stars. "You're not your brother's keeper, but you're mine if you'll have me." Their first kiss was tentative, tasting of salt and smoke, a bridge over the chasm. Fall deepened the bond, their relationship unfolding like a well-rehearsed play, Theo's theater gigs providing levity, Alex's deadlines the gravity. They navigated the city's queer scene together, pride parades where Alex marched with a sign reading code for equality, underground readings where Theo recited sonnets about forbidden love. But prejudice lurked in shadows. A homophobic slur scrawled on Alex's car after a late-night debug session. Theo's understudy quitting the show after overhearing whispers about the fag director's boyfriend. Alex channeled it into Phoenix 2.0, adding features for legal aid alerts on discrimination suits. Revenue soared, hitting 7 figures by winter. He bought a condo overlooking the river, minimalist with floor-to-ceiling windows that framed his reinvention. Theo moved in, their mornings a symphony of coffee and quiet affections. "This is home," Alex whispered one snowy evening, tracing Theo's jaw. But home was a double-edged sword. Dad's second scare, Pneumonia this time. Pulled at threads Alex thought severed. The flight to Columbus was turbulent, mirroring his gut. Elmwood hadn't changed. Same sagging porches, same judgmental stares at the gas station when he filled up. Mom met him at the hospital, hug warmer this time. Eyes searching. You've done well, Alex. We hear things. He stiffened. Word of Phoenix must have trickled in via tech blogs. Dad, Freilier now gripped his hand. Proud of you, son. Even if we didn't show it. The words cracked something deep, tears blurring the 4 lines. Jordan arrived last, Liam in tow, their marriage a strained facade. Liam's eyes hollow, Jordan's jaw tight from unpaid bills. Heard you're some hotshot now, Jordan said, tone laced with envy. Alex met his gaze evenly. Just surviving. Dinner at the farm was a minefield. Mom's casserole's a peace offering, Dad's story's a bridge. But undercurrents swirled. Liam's furtive glances, heavy with regret. Jordan's barbs about city fairy tales. As Alex prepared to leave, Jordan cornered him in the barn, the same spot of old whispers. Need another loan, bro? Or you too big for that now? Alex's fist clenched, but he exhaled control. Figure it out yourself. Driving back, the highway blurred through tears, not of pain, but release. Chicago welcomed him with Theo's arms, the fortune no longer secret but a shield. Yet whispers of return grew louder. Phoenix's national rollout demanded board meetings in D.C., but Elmwood called too, in Mom's letters hinting at family reconciliation. Alex ignored them, focusing on the life he'd built. Little did he know, the past was plotting its comeback, with a twist that would shatter every fragile piece. Snow dusted Chicago's streets like powdered regret, but inside the condo, warmth bloomed from the fireplace Theo had insisted on. Fake flames, real comfort. At 28, Alex Harper was a name in tech circles. Phoenix Ventures valued at $20 million. His face on Forbes, 30 under 30, for queer innovators. Yet success tasted bittersweet, laced with the what-ifs of a family fractured by one stolen kiss. Theo sensed it, their evenings punctuated by his gentle probes. When are you going back? He'd ask, not pushing, just planting seeds. The catalyst came unbidden, an email from Liam. Subject, I'm sorry. Alex stared at the screen, cursor hovering like a loaded gun. 8 years, and now this. He deleted it unread, but the ghost lingered, haunting code reviews and client calls. Theo found him on the balcony that night, bourbon in hand, city lights reflecting turmoil. Read it, Theo urged softly. Or it owns you. Reluctantly, Alex opened it on his phone. Liam's words spilling regret. The affair a stupid mistake. Jordan's pressure a cage. Their marriage crumbling under lies. I never stopped loving you. Jordan. He took what wasn't his to prove he could. Rage and pity warred in Alex's chest. He forwarded it to Theo, who read silently, then pulled him close. That's not closure, but it's a start. They made love that night. Not frantic, but slow, reaffirming, bodies mapping trust rebuilt. But dawn brought resolve. Alex booked tickets to Elmwood. Not for forgiveness, but confrontation. I need to end this, he told Theo, who nodded, packing his bag too. We're in it together. The drive south was a descent into memory lane, cornfields whispering accusations. Elmwood greeted them with spring thaw, mud sucking at tires, the farm's roof patched but sagging. Mom's face lit at the door, hugging Theo like a long-lost son. A partner? Oh, Alex. Her voice trailed, pride mingling with apology. Dad, stronger now on new meds, shook Theo's hand firmly. Welcome. Jordan and Liam arrived for Sunday lunch, tension thick as gravy. Jordan's eyes narrowed at Theo, brought back up, huh? While Liam's gaze locked on Alex, pleading silently. The meal was a tightrope. Small talk about Phoenix's success drawing awed murmurs from Mom. Dad's questions about that computer magic easing into laughter. But undercurrents boiled. After pie, Jordan pulled Alex aside to the porch, cigarette dangling. Heard about your app. Fancy, but family's blood. Alex's laugh was sharp. Blood that bleeds you dry. Jordan flinched, then sneered. Liam's regrets don't change facts. I won fair. Theo diffused it later, charming the room with theater anecdotes, but Liam cornered Alex in the kitchen. It was wrong. Every day since. His voice broke, hands trembling. Jordan, he's not the man you think. controlling, jealous. Alex's heart twisted, not with love, but empathy for the boy he'd lost to a brother's ambition. Too late, he said, but softer than intended. As they drove away, Theo's hand in his, Alex felt the scales tipping. Return wasn't surrender, it was reclamation. Back in Chicago, Phoenix exploded, acquired by a major bank for ethics modules, Alex's stake netting 8 figures. He and Theo celebrated with a trip to Provincetown, Cape Cod's queer enclave, where they walked beaches hand in hand. No stairs, just freedom. Marry me, Theo asked one sunset, ring simple platinum. Alex's yes was a vow to future, not past. But fortune's shadow loomed. Tabloids sniffed his story, queer tech tycoon from Bible Belt roots, and Elmwood's whispers amplified. Jordan called, voice oily, need advice on investments. Family discount. Alex hung up, but the seed sprouted unease. Theo noticed, their bliss tempered by talks of roots. Go back on your terms, he said. Summer brought the twist. Dad's will reading. No, not death, but a letter from beyond, pinned during his scare. Mom mailed it. Alex, if you're reading this, forgive us. Jordan's always chased shadows. You're the light. Tears blurred ink, but clarity sharpened. He planned the return, a family summit, his terms. Fall foliage blazed as they arrived, the farm alive with harvest. But chaos awaited. Jordan's gambling debts exposed, the garage seized, Liam packing bags amid screams. You did this. Jordan roared at Alex's entrance, face purple. Your money dried up? Alex stood firm, Theo at his side. No, your choices did. Revelations cascaded. Liam's confession of abuse, Jordan's manipulations laid bare. Mom wept, Dad's voice steady. Enough, son. Face yourself. In the barn's dim light, brothers clashed, not fists, but truths. Jordan crumbled, admitting envy born of his own hidden fears, bisexuality buried under macho facade, stealing Liam to silence doubts. I hated you for being brave, he sobbed. Alex's forgiveness wasn't instant, but it came, a bridge of shared pain. Liam stayed with Mom, healing tentatively, while Jordan entered rehab, the family splintering to reform. As leaves fell, Alex and Theo hosted Thanksgiving, tables groaning under roasts, queer friends mingling with tentative kin. Laughter bridged gaps, stories weaving new tapestries. But the real climax brewed. Phoenix's IPO loomed, Alex's fortune ballooning to 9 figures, but a rival hacker, jealous ex-colleague, threatened exposure of stolen code. The cyber assault hit during the feast, alerts pinging. Alex's mind raced, channeling crisis into command. With Theo's calm and a team call, they traced the breach, turning defense to counter, public takedown via blockchain proof. Victory tasted sweeter shared, Jordan's rehab letter arriving, learning to be me. Thanks for not giving up. The year closed with snow, Alex proposing expansions, Phoenix foundations for queer youth in rural towns. But whispers of deeper secrets stirred. A sibling none knew, Jordan's child from a pre-marriage fling, now orphaned, seeking kin. The fortune's true test awaited, not wealth, but weaving lost threads into wholeness. Winter's grip tightened on Chicago, icicles like frozen accusations dangling from the condo's eaves. But inside, Alex and Theo's world pulsed with newfound rhythm. The IPO catapulted Phoenix to unicorn status, Alex's net worth cresting $50 million, yet he funneled half into the Harper Foundation, grants for LGBTQ plus coders from conservative pockets, safe houses in Bible Belt shadows. You're changing the game, Theo marveled during their holiday gala, black tie affair at the Art Institute, where donors toasted his vision. Alex smiled, but unease flickered. Fortune's weight pressed like an ill-fitted crown. The orphan's arrival shattered your logs. A social worker's call mid-party. Jordan Harper's niece, Mia, 6 years old. Mother's overdose, father's unknown. He listed you as emergency contact. Alex's champagne flute slipped, shattering like his composure. Jordan, in rehab, confirmed via shaky video, my mess from years back. Didn't know till now. She's family. Mia arrived 2 days later, wide-eyed towhead clutching a stuffed fox, her silence louder than screams. Uncle Alex, she whispered, eyeing Theo warily. Parenting crashed over them like a rogue wave. Sleepless nights of nightmares. Mia thrashing from loss, intersected with board meetings. Theo adapted seamlessly, bedtime stories and silly voices melting her reserve. We're a team, he reminded Alex, who juggled code audits and custody papers. Elmwood trips became routine, Mom doting on Mia like a balm for old guilts, Dad teaching her farm chores with gentle hands. Jordan visited supervised, his recovery fragile, eyes softening at Mia's gap-toothed grin. I owe you, he murmured to Alex one dusk, silos silhouetted. More than money. But prejudices' thorns pricked anew. Tabloids twisted the tale. Tech mogul's secret niece, scandal or savior? Stirring online trolls spewing vitriol, pervert playing daddy. A protest erupted outside the condo, signs reading protect kids from gays, forcing security upgrades. Alex shielded Mia, but the hate seeped, her school whispers prompting tears. Am I bad? She asked, fox limp in arms. Theo scooped her up. You're magic. They don't see it yet. The conflict escalated with a boardroom coup, conservative investors, smelling weakness in the family drama, pushing for a pivot to mainstream apps, diluting queer focus. Alex fought back, allying with Theo's theater network for a PR blitz, testimonials from foundation beneficiaries, a viral video of Mia coding her first Hello World on his laptop. The tide turned, ousters reversed, but exhaustion carved hollows under his eyes. Liam, now divorced and volunteering at a crisis center, reached out. Let me help with Mia. Atonement. Alex hesitated, old scars itching, but agreed. A playdate at the park, Liam's remorse genuine in balloon animals and patient listens. Spring thawed tensions, Mia blooming like crocuses, first-grade art projects adorning walls, her laughter echoing in the condo. But twists lurked. Jordan's relapse scare, a bar slip that spiraled into theft from rehab funds. Confrontation brewed over Easter brunch at the farm, air thick with ham and hypocrisy. I can't keep bailing you, Alex said, voice steel. Jordan's defiance cracked. Then take Mia. I don't deserve her. The words hung, a crossroads. Alex refused, insisting on therapy tandem. We're Harpers. We break cycles, not repeat them. Theo's support anchored, their bond deepening in quiet victories. Mia's first pride float wave, hand in his. But fortune's curse struck. A phishing scam siphoned $2 million from auxiliary accounts, traced to Jordan's old garage buddy, bitter over foreclosure. Betrayal's echo chilled Alex. Was blood doomed to poison? He hired PIs, recovered funds via forensic accounting, but trust fractured further. Mia sensed it, regressing to thumb-sucking. Family hurts, she lisped one night. Alex held her, throat tight. Not all. We choose ours. Summer sizzled with redemption arcs. Jordan recommitted, landing a mechanic job in Columbus, weekend visits with Mia tentative bridges. Liam's friendship steadied, co-parenting tips over coffee evolving into allyship, lobbying for anti-discrimination bills with Phoenix's clout. The foundation expanded, rural outposts in Ohio offering coding camps where kids like young Alex found voices. Yet climax loomed, a defamation suit from the protest group, claiming Phoenix indoctrinated via grants. Courtrooms became battlegrounds, Alex testifying on discrimination's toll, Theo's closing argument, like a monologue, swaying the judge. Dismissal brought catharsis, headlines shifting. Harper's heart. Fortune for the forgotten. Mia's adoption papers finalized, her middle name, Theo, a nod to chosen kin. Fall harvested peace, harvest festival at the farm a full circle, Jordan sober toasting Alex, Mom's eyes misty, Dad's arm around Liam like old times. But whispers of deeper secrets persisted, Mia's birth certificate hinting at a father not Jordan, but someone closer, Dad's old partner from youth, buried truths bubbling. As leaves turned, Alex uncovered it via Ancestry Dig, the man Dad golfed with, Uncle Ray. Queer and closeted, his passing leaving echoes. Confronting Dad over cider, why hide? Dad's confession poured, love denied by era's chains, Jordan's turmoil inherited shadows. Forgiveness flowed freer now, layers peeled. The year waned with Mia's school play, Theo directing, Alex in front row beaming. Fortune wasn't gold. It was this, tattered bonds mended, prejudices pierced. Yet one final turn awaited, a revelation that would test if wealth could buy absolution or only amplify the fall. Autumn's palette bled into Chicago's canyons, golds and crimsons framing Alex's world like a canvas of hard-won beauty. At 30, with Mia's laughter now a daily soundtrack and Theo's scripts cluttering the coffee table, life approximated normalcy, a queer family thriving amid skyscrapers. Phoenix's empire sprawled globally, subsidiaries in Berlin and Sydney championing digital rights. Alex's fortune a quiet $100 million, steward for impact over indulgence. But normalcy was illusion. The past's underbelly writhed, ready to erupt. The bomb detonated via certified mail, a claim from Ray's estate. Mia's true paternity asserted through DNA unearthed by a nosy executor. Your father, the letter read, left provisions for any heirs. Dad's Uncle Ray, the fishing buddy, the golf crony, had been lover, not friend, their bond a clandestine lifeline in Elmwood's repression. Dad's face, when confronted anew, crumpled like wet newsprint. He was my heart, Alex. Lost him to AIDS in '92, before we knew better. The revelation rippled. Jordan's bisexuality no anomaly, but legacy, the family's straight facade a crumbling dam. Mom's denial fractured first, lies from beyond the grave, but evidence mounted. Letters yellowed in attic trunks, photos of two men arm in arm at hidden lakes. Mia, oblivious at 7, drew family trees with crayons, branches twisting like truths. Alex mediated, hosting a summit at the condo, fireplace crackling, Theo mediating with herbal tea. Jordan arrived gaunt from rehab, eyes haunted. Explains a lot, he admitted, voice raw. Dad's hypocrisy. Mine. Liam, now a fixture as Uncle L, nodded solemnly, his own scars lending weight. The estate battle twisted into emotional quicksand. Ray's will stipulated Mia's inheritance, a modest trust, but laced with conditions. Family reconciliation documented, prejudices publicly renounced. Lawyers circled like sharks, tabloids feasting. Harper Dynasty's queer roots exposed. Protests reignited, but this time, allies amplified. Glad spotlights. Phoenix users crowdfunding legal defenses. Alex's testimony, live-streamed, laid bare the generational theft, not fortunes, but authenticities stolen by fear. Climax crested in a stormy Columbus courtroom, rain lashing windows like judgments. Dad took the stand, voice quavering. I loved Ray. Denied him, denied myself, hurt my boys. Tears traced furrows, the gallery hushed. Jordan followed, owning manipulations. Stole Alex's love to bury my own confusion. The judge, a silver-haired lesbian with pride pins, ruled for Mia, trust unlocked, but with stipends tied to therapy circles. Victory was Pyrrhic. Hugs in the hallway tasted of salt, bonds reforged in fire's forge. Winter whispered warnings, however. A Phoenix insider, board member with Midland ties, leaked prototypes, corporate espionage threatening collapse. Alex traced it to Jordan's old circle, a desperate bid for quick cash amid his fresh start. Betrayal's sting sharpened. Family again? Confrontation at a neutral diner. Mia at home with Theo. Why? Jordan's confession spilled. Pressures from lenders. Fear of failing Mia. Thought I could fix it quiet. Alex's ultimatum. Full disclosure, repayment plan, or exile. Jordan chose amends. Whistleblowing on the leak. Salvaging code with insider aid. Healing's path wound through therapies. Group sessions where Dad shared Ray's letters. Mom unpacked her complicity in silence. Mia thrived. Her trust fund seeding a college kitty. Her questions met with age-soft truths. Love comes in colors, kiddo. Ours is rainbow. Theo's play premiered off-Broadway. Shadows of the Silo. Semi-autobiographical. Harper's fictionalized but raw. Earning Obie nods and cathartic applause. Alex, in the wings, felt pride swell, fortune paling beside art's alchemy. Spring heralded growth. Jordan's garage reboot, Phoenix-backed, hiring ex-offenders in queer-inclusive spaces. Liam's center expanded, Alex keynoting fundraisers on coding compassion. But tension simmered. A rival app, backed by the protest group's donors, aped Phoenix features, lawsuit brewing. The boardroom war escalated, depositions dredging Alex's past. Elmwood exile as motive for grudge. Sleepless, he leaned on Theo, their intimacy a refuge. Whispered vows renewed under duvets. The trial's eve brought the turn, evidence of the rival's founder's hate crimes, unearthed by Jordan's contacts. Dropped charges, countersuit victorious, Phoenix's stock soaring. Summer solstice saw celebration. A farm wedding for Jordan and his rehab sponsor, a quiet queer man named Ellis. Vows exchanged under oaks. Alex walked him down the aisle, Mia flower girl in overalls, laughter healing old rifts. Dad danced with Mom, then Liam, circles widening. Yet fortune's final test loomed. Mia's school bullying, taunts of rich gay uncles, triggering shutdowns. Alex's response: a foundation initiative, nationwide queer family summits, starting in Elmwood. The event drew hundreds, stories shared in barns turned ballrooms, prejudices pierced by potlucks. Climax in a panel: Alex, Jordan, Dad, trio unveiling legacies, tears and cheers mingling. Mia's drawing, raffled, fetched thousands. A rainbow silo, caption Our Farm. As harvest moon rose, Alex reflected on the balcony, Theo's head on his shoulder, Mia asleep inside. The secret fortune, once a weapon, was now a well, deep, shared. But one whisper remained. Ray's unpublished memoir, hinting at town secrets deeper, a network of hidden loves that could upend Elmwood's foundations. The return was complete, but the story? Far from over. Harvest's bounty spilled across Elmwood's fields, golden waves bowing to autumn winds that carried scents of cider and change. Alex's foundation summit had transformed the town, barns aglow with string lights, picnic tables groaning under communal feasts, faces from every hue gathering under Love's legacy banners. At 32, with Theo's ring glinting on his finger and Mia's braids flying as she chased fireflies, Alex surveyed it all from the porch, heart full yet vigilant. Fortune had bought platforms, but vulnerability built bridges. The memoir's tease loomed like a gathering squall. Ray's pages arrived via courier, bound in leather cracked by time. Dad's handwriting annotating margins, for when you're ready. Alex read by lamplight. Theo curled beside. Mia's snores a distant lullaby. The words unveiled a tapestry. Elmwood's underbelly of queer alliances, secret societies in the 70s, lovers meeting at midnight mills, a mayor's son who'd fled like Alex, only to seed national reforms. Ray chronicled it all, loves lost to raids, friendships forged in foxholes of fear. We were the ghosts, he wrote, but ghosts build foundations. The revelation ignited action. Alex digitized the archive, partnering with historians for a Hidden Harbors exhibit at the local museum. Once a church of condemnations, now a sanctuary of stories. Pushback roared, councilmen thundering revisionist filth, petitions circling like vultures. Jordan, steadied by Ellis, rallied mechanics for countersigns. Truth heals. Liam's center hosted read-alouds, voices young and old reclaiming narratives. Climax brewed in town hall, packed to rafters, Alex at podium. This isn't erasure, it's excavation. Our ghosts demand light. Hecklers jeered, but testimonies drowned them. A widow admitting her husband's fishing trips were rendezvous. A teen coming out mid-speech, hugged by strangers. The vote passed narrowly, exhibit greenlit, but not without cost. A brick through the museum window that night, shards like shattered silences. Security tightened, but spirit soared. Mia's class project, inspired, won regional arts. Her essay Ghosts with Gifts going viral. Winter wove introspection, holidays a mosaic, condo trimmed with Ray's photos, farm feasts blending kin. Dad's health waned, but stories sustained, bedside tales of Ray's wit, laughter bubbling through oxygen masks. You made it right, he whispered to Alex, hand clasped. Jordan's garage thrived, Phoenix Tech streamlining ops, his fatherhood with Mia tentative but tender. Theo's Broadway transfer beckoned, shadows scaling up, but he deferred, prioritizing their nest. Stages wait, this is Act 1. Spring's thaw mirrored internal shifts. Mia's questions deepened. Was Grandpa gay too? Met with honest hues, her acceptance a mirror of growth. The foundation's rural camps flourished, coders emerging from cornfields. apps birthing for mental health hotlines. But conflict crested with a corporate raid. Silicon Valley giant eyeing Phoenix acquisition, strings attached, dilute advocacy for broader appeal. Board divided, Alex's veto sparked exodus, whispers of betrayal from allies he'd championed. The standoff stretched weeks, negotiations in glass towers where suits sneered at social justice fluff. Theo scripted a counter-narrative, a docuseries, Fortune's Fire, filming Harper's arc, Exile to Empire, Pains to Powers. Crowdfunded, it premiered at Sundance, critics hailing Queer Odyssey for the digital age. Streams crashed servers, investors fleeing the acquirer, Phoenix independent and ascendant. Alex's speech at the fest, Wealth whispers, love roars. Summer solstice brought union, Alex and Theo's wedding on the farm, under the oaks of Jordan's vows. Mia ring-bearer in a tiny tux, guests a rainbow river. Queer icons, Elmwood holdouts, Ray's spectral nod in wind chimes. Vows exchanged, in shadows and code, I choose you. Dance floor swirled, Dad's waltz with Mom a quiet triumph. Jordan's toast slurred with joy. To brothers, blood, and chosen. Yet the arc's peak pierced post-honeymoon. Mia's diagnosis, autism spectrum, subtle but scripting challenges. Therapies layered atop empire duties. Alex's nights blurred with IEPs and algorithms. Prejudice resurfaced in school board fights, special ed for normals only, but allies mobilized. Liam's lobbying, Jordan's pickets. Victory in inclusive policies, but exhaustion etched deeper. Theo's whisper anchor. We're her world builders. Fall harvested maturity. Memoirs full publication of bestseller. Elmwood's museum drawing tourists. Economy blooming. Dad's passing came gentle. Spring rain on window panes. Last words. Love loud son. Funeral fused farm and city folk. Eulogies weaving Ray's threads into Harper's loom. Inheritance? Not cash, but closure. Letters for each. Permissions to live unburdened. As snow dusted anew, Alex stood on the porch, Mia and Theo inside baking. Jordan's call buzzing. Garage expansion. Your tech? Laughter bubbled. The secret fortune, once exile's fruit, was legacy's leaf, scattered to seed revolutions. Betrayals mended, prejudices paled, love's layered eternal. Elmwood no longer loomed. It beckoned, a chapter in the endless story of return. In the quiet, Alex traced the horizon, heart steady. The son who'd fled rain-slick streets had come home, not to conquer, but to belong. And in that, the greatest fortune gleamed.